Welcome back to the channel, and this is going to be part 1 of a 3-part tutorial series that I'm putting together on making a cute little corgi character in Blender. So like I said, this is part 1 where we'll be doing the modeling, and then we'll go on, to UV unwrapping, texture painting. So I'd say this is somewhere between beginner and intermediary, so it's not too hard. It's also not too super simple. You need to know kind of like the basics, but it's not hard. So if you're still new to Blender and you know the basics, you should be fine. So this is part 1, and this is kind of where we're going to get to. Making this little character. I will be uploading the final blend file from this project to my Patreon. That'll be in the description below if you guys are interested. If you're not, just keep watching, and we'll make this little guy together. We're also going to be making this little scarf as well, which I think just really adds something snugly to this character. So let's jump in and make a corgi in Blender. So let's start off in Blender. We're just going to be starting with the default cube. And one thing you're probably wondering, since this is a round kind of character, why are we starting with a cube? And the reason is because we want the right kind of topology. Sometimes when you kind of flatten a sphere, because you have the triangles at the top, I'll quickly show you guys, like this, it can kind of create some weird stretching when we add modifiers. It can make UV unwrapping a little bit messy. So we're just going to start with a cube, okay? That's the explanation if you're wondering. So what we're going to do, we're going to take the default cube, we're going to go G, Z, and move it up a little bit, like so. It doesn't have to be exactly where I've placed it, just because it's going to be the head. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go into edit mode. And with edit mode, we're just going to go S, Z, and we're going to flatten it a little bit. And once you flatten it on the Z axis a little bit, you're going to go into your right orthographic view by pressing 3. So we're essentially in our right orthographic. We're going to go A to select everything, S, Y, and just flatten it a little bit on the Y, about this much. And now we have a kind of box here. It's going to be the rough proximity of a head, but we want to come in here in the middle. Control R, hovering over this edge, you're going to see a yellow line. So Control R or Command R. I'm going to double click and add that in. And you guys might not be seeing my keys, so I'm just going to add that. So you can see here the keys I'm pressing down in the bottom left. So we've added in a loop. Then we're going to come across here, Control R, hovering over here, and you should see the yellow line. Double click, add that in. Come to the side, Control R, double click to add this one in. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go into our front orthographic. We're going to enable our X mirror, and let's just go into wireframe by pressing Z and going wireframe. If you wanted to, you could also just enable the X-ray up here, as long as you can grab through and select both vertices, okay? Or 3 vertices in this case. We're going to go to the front. We're going to grab these guys here. We have X mirror enabled, and since this is symmetrical, we can now go G, move this one in, grab this one down here, go G to move it in. And let's go over here to the side. Let's click and drag, select these guys. Let's just go G to move them in, R to rotate a bit, and do the same here. Move them in, R to rotate, and just do the same here. Just rounding these out, bringing them in. Then we're going to press 7 on a number pad to go to our top orthographic. And then let's grab these guys here and go G to move them in, and these ones here as well. Just like that. Okay, so now we have this rough round shape. I might just bring this up just a bit, and I'm going to turn off X mirror for now. And now I'm going to just turn off the X-ray. Control R, double click. Control R, hovering over this edge, double click. And let's just come in here, Control R, double click, and over this edge, Control R, double click. A to select everything, and then come over here to your tools and go to the smooth tool here, and then click on this little gizmo and just drag and smooth this all out. And now we've got the head. Now all we have to do is turn X mirror back on. Let's enable proportional editing. And then let's just go back into our X-ray, and we can now click and drag and move it and roll our middle mouse button to control the fall off, so we can roll the middle mouse button. And now we can just shape our head. So I'm going to go something like this. I'm going to grab the bottom here and go G and just drag that out a little bit and more to the side to create this kind of cute chibi looking shape. And I might just grab these verts down here at the bottom and just kind of move them down a little bit. So now we've created the head shape, and in the side, we want to shape it just a little bit as well. So I'm just going to grab these verts here, maybe just move them back a little bit, and then grab these ones here and kind of move them forward. And we have kind of like a little bit of a slant here in the forehead. So now with that done, we're going to go back into object mode, and we're going to select the head, and we're going to go to our modifiers, add modifier, search, and let's just type in sub and get a subdivision surface modifier. And now it's smoothed this all out, and we're going to right click and go shade smooth. And let's just take the viewport level up to 2. Okay, we could always apply this later or mess around with it, but for now we have the head shape. So now what we're going to do is we can do one of two things. We can add in another cube and do the same thing, or we can be smart and select our head, Shift D to duplicate and Z to bring it down. And then we can go tab into edit mode, A to select everything, and let's go S, X and flatten it a little bit on the X, about this much. And let's go S, Z and flatten it a little bit on the Z. And then with it all selected, we're just going to go S and scale the whole thing down. And let's go into our right view. And in the right view, let's just go into our X-ray mode, select these verts, and let's just bring them forward. Grab these guys at the front and just bring his belly in a little bit. And then once you've done that, you can kind of grab these top faces. So you can see here we have 8 faces at the top, like so. So I've just gone, clicked and dragged and just selected those top 8 faces. And we're going to go S, Z. And we're going to roll down our influence on the proportional editing just so it doesn't grab too much influence. I'm going to just flatten it like this. So S, Z. So I've gone S, Z and just flatten it onto Z. And then with those all active, I'm going to go X and delete those faces. So now it's open at the top. And we can just kind of grab this and tuck it up by moving it up, and we can scale it a little bit. And now we have the body, like so. It's a bit skinny. I might just grab him and just go S, X and just give him a little bit more width like that. And that's all good. So now with that all done, let's just go back into object mode. I'm going to turn the X-ray toggle off here. So now we can see the body. And now make sure to save, by the way, as you're working. Now we're going to add some simple arms and legs. So let's go Shift A. Let's just go to our mesh options, add in, let's go with a UV sphere. And let's just go to add UV sphere. Let's just make the top 24. And let's just take this one down to 12. The rings, let's bring this down. And now we can tab into edit mode with this selected and grab all these top faces. I'm just going to turn off the proportional editing. Now we're going to go E to extrude and Z, and extrude up into Z about this much. And then go X and click on faces. Now I've deleted the faces. Then we're going to select all of this. We're going to go G, Z and move it down till the top of the leg sits where the origin point is. Then let's go back into object mode, and now we can grab this and we can go S to scale in object mode, G to move it, and let's place it where the leg is. Let's go over to our modifiers and go add and go search, and let's just type in MIR, click on mirror, and let's make sure it's X and come to the mirror object. Get the eyedropper and then click on the body. Now it should be mirrored along the X. So what we're going to do in this case, we're going to go G, X, move it over to the side a little bit more. And we're going to tab into edit mode. We can come in here, Control R, roll in a few more segments. And let's just go over here and select the proportional editing. And let's just select this over here and just drag it out a little bit and just kind of create this sort of organic looking shape, kind of like half a bean. And then in our side view, we can do the same. Grab this here. It's optional, but this sort of shaping just adds a little more detail. And then we can tab back out, right click and go shade smooth, and there we have the legs. Now if you're wondering how to make the arms, I'll show you. Ready? We're going to grab this in our front view. We're going to go Shift D to duplicate, move it up here, R to rotate, S to scale, bring it in here, tab into edit mode, and then come here in the end, select this vertex, Control plus or Command plus, keep pressing it to grow the selection a little bit, and then with proportional editing, we're just going to go G, shrink the fall off, and let's just bring this arm out about this much, and then let's just shape it a little bit like that. There we go. You can make the arms as long or as short as you want, and you can come in here, shape it however you want at the shoulders, completely up to you, but you guys kind of get the idea. So yeah, I might just come in here, Control R, add in here, Control R, double click, add in some more topology. But really, I wouldn't overthink it. Remember, we're not animating this, so we're not thinking too much about rigging. So something like that, something simple, is all you really need. Okay, so now let's make our corgi ears before we go into anything else. And even though they might look complicated, they're pretty simple. So what we're going to do, we're going to go Shift A, and I think the best way to approach this is to get a plane. And in our front view, we're going to go G and move it up here. And then we're going to tab in to edit mode, and we're going to go R, X, 90 and hit enter. Let's just go S and scale it down about this much. I'm going to turn off proportional editing, and let's go back into object mode. And let's go G and move it over here so it's sitting almost in the middle of it, sits here in the edge. We're going to go R to rotate it like this. And then we're going to go into edit mode again. And then we're going to select this vertex and this vertex. We're going to go E to extrude, click, and then S to scale. Maybe we'll just bring it down just a little bit, like so. And then we're going to come over here, Control R, add in a segment here in the middle, double click. And let's grab this one, move it out a bit. Then we're going to come in here, Control R, double click, and hovering over this edge, Control R, double click. And in our front view, we're just going to shape the ear of our corgi a little bit, like so. Let's grab these ones, move them up, just like that. So now we have this shape, very simple thing to make. And with everything selected, we're going to go E to extrude and extrude it back. And let's go back into solid view and let's go hovering over this edge, Control R. You'll see the yellow line, double click. And with it still active, go Alt S and just scale out along the normals with Alt S. Something like that. Excellent. And now go to your face select option. Holding in Shift, select this face, these two, and also these two at the bottom. So all of these 8 faces at the front. And then you're going to press I to inset it. Let's go about this much. And then you can go E to extrude in, like that. Now you're going to press A to select everything. You're going to right click and go subdivide. Then you're going to go to your smooth tool, click on it, and then click on this little gizmo and then just smooth everything out. And now you have your corgi ear, and you're welcome to grab your vertex select option, go over here and then just grab a vertex at the back and then just kind of move it out a little bit to add some volume. And now you can come in here and shape your ear all you want. Make it look as cute and as stylized as you want. There's no right or wrong way here. It's completely up to you. So I'm just going to go with something like this. And once you think you like the shape you've created, maybe grab it again, everything, and just with the smooth tool one more time, just smooth it out just a little bit. And now that's looking really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back into object mode, right click and go shade smooth. And actually, let's just maybe grab the body, the head, and just press H to hide it. And I'm just going to grab the ear again. And just so we can be a bit more efficient, we're just going to go into wireframe. And we're going to just press C to get the selection tool. And let's just go and select these bottom faces here. All these ones. Like so. And let's just go X and delete those faces. And then we can go Shift Alt and left click on this edge to loop selected. And with this one, we're just going to go E to extrude and extrude it in, S to scale it down a bit. And now we have less unnecessary topology. That's optional. You guys don't have to do that, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to go back into my object mode. Then I'll go Alt H just to bring back the corgi head. And now we can grab this ear. We can go over to our modifiers, add modifier, search, and let's just type in MIR, give it a mirror. It should be set to X, and then click on the eyedropper and select the body. There we go. So now we have our corgi ears. Make sure to save, and now what we're going to do is add his eyes. So let's go Shift A. We'll actually go to our options this time and add a UV sphere. Move it over to the side, and let's go RX90, hit enter. S to scale it down. And then in our side view, we're just going to go SY and flatten it a bit. Right click, go shade smooth. And we're going to give this a mirror as well under our modifiers. Click on the eyedropper and select the body and then just move it in. And in the side view, your right orthographic, you're just going to go G and move it forward. And then in your top view, you can just rotate them this way a little bit. And you might notice that I've actually placed mine a little bit further out from the body. And the reason is when we add a particle system to this body, the fur is going to be sticking out quite a lot. So because we don't want to create like a particle system underneath here to avoid the hair over here, we're just going to place the eyes here and it's going to be stylized, but it will kind of work for what we're going for. So we're not going to worry too much about this. Just kind of have them floating out here away from the body a little bit. Should be fine. And now we're just going to go Shift A. Let's just add in a cube and let's move it up. S to scale it, and in our side view, let's just move it forward. Flatten it a little bit by going SY. And you can now just in edit mode, scale this on the X and just make a very simple little nose. I might come in here, Control R, double click. Just move up this vertex, Control R, double click, just scale these two. Honestly, this is a very simple shape to make. Just something like this. Tab back out and then go to your modifiers and just search for a sub and get a subdivision surface. bump it up, right click, go shade smooth. And that is as simple as the nose has to be. You really don't have to overthink it. Maybe it'll be cuter just to kind of take it up just a little bit. I think something like that looks quite cute. And the mouth is simply just go to your mesh options, Shift A mesh, and let's just go get a torus. RX90, hit enter. And in edit mode, we just select half of this and go X and delete those faces. And then press A to select everything, go Alt S, scale in along the normals to make it a bit skinnier. And then you can go Shift Alt left click on this edge and go F to fill it. Go Control B to create a bevel. And you can do the same thing over here. Just F to fill those faces, Control B, create a bevel. Tab back out, S to scale it down, and then go G, Z, move it up. And in your right view, just go G, Y, and move it forward. S to scale it down a bit, and you can place it wherever you want. So for me, it's going to be right about here. Right click and go shade smooth. Rotate it a little bit. And there we have it. So that is our stylized little face. And even though we're not going to be seeing it from the back, if you wanted to, you could go ahead, just add a little tail as in adding a UV sphere. Put it over here. And then if you wanted to, in edit mode, you could shape it a little bit. But honestly, I really wouldn't go too crazy with that sort of detail because, like I said, we are only seeing this after all from the front. But if you want to do like a turntable, you'd probably want to go ahead and do something like that. But that's about it. So as far as the little scarf around the neck goes, we'll probably do that maybe towards the end after we've added our particle system. But for now, I don't think it's necessary until we have our fur kind of around the body. So this has been part one of actually modeling our corgi. In the next part, we'll actually kind of join everything together. We'll do a bit of UV unwrapping so we can prepare it for texture painting. And we might do the texture painting as well in the next bit. If we don't have time, we'll do it in part 3 along with the rest of the stuff, like doing our particles for our hair and doing the final rendering and materials. So just check all that out on my channel. Part 2 is going to be next. And thank you for watching. And always, I forgot to mention, I will be adding this blend file, the completed one, to my Patreon. All of that's in the description. So I'll see you in part 2. Welcome back. This is part 2 of a 3-part tutorial series I'm doing on making this little corgi character in Blender. So like I said in part 1, if you haven't already seen that, I mentioned there that this is kind of like somewhere between beginners and intermediate. So it's not hard. It's not super simple either. So it's kind of like you need to know the basics, but I definitely wouldn't call it hard. So if you're still new to Blender, but you know basic modeling and navigation, you should be fine. Okay. So yeah, let's jump into part 2 and continue making our little character here. So now that we're in part 2, we're going to join a lot of the things together here for our little corgi character. So let's grab the body. And what we're going to do, we're going to come here and bring the subdiv down to 1. We're going to come to drop down and apply it. And then we're going to grab the legs here. We're going to apply the mirror for that. We're going to grab the arms. We're going to come to the drop down and apply the mirror for that. We're going to grab the head and bring it down 1 level. We're going to apply the mirror for that. We're going to grab the corgi ears and we're going to go ahead and apply the mirror. And then with the ears selected, holding in shift, we're going to select the legs, the body, and the arms. So we've got these things all selected. Holding in shift as well, just select the tail. And then the last thing while we're holding in shift, we're going to select this the head. And we're going to go Control J and we're going to join it together. So it's now all one object with the exception of the eyes here. Okay, so let's grab the eyes. We can come to drop down, apply them. Grab the nose and we can apply the subdiv at a level of 2. There we go. And let's grab this thing here and just leave it as it is. So these face objects here, we'll keep them all separate. The main thing we want to mess with is the corgi body itself. So if you grab the body now and you go into edit mode, this is what you should see. Okay, so now what we could do is actually come here and double click on this object we have selected. Let's just call it corgi. And I'm just going to go back into object mode. And now what we're going to do, we're going to go with our corgi selected. We're going to go into our UV editing workspace. And let's come here to our edge select. And we're going to start by coming to the middle edge here on our head. We're going to go Shift Alt left click, and it's going to loop select the whole thing like so. And we're going to come here to the ear, Shift Alt left click on one of these edges running along like so. So it goes all the way around. And come over here, Shift and Alt left click on this one. So you can see we have this looped, and the ear looped over here. And we're gonna come here to the body and grab this one here on the side. So if you go to side view, Shift Alt left click on this one, and it should go all the way around like so. And let's now go to the arm here, Shift Alt left click on this one. It doesn't go all the way through because of the triangle. So we're gonna go to the bottom, Shift Alt left click on one of these edges. So you can see now that's looping around. And let's do the same thing over on this side, like that. Let's come over here, Shift Alt left click, Shift Alt, come in inside here and just select one of these. Okay, so we have it looping around here. And then Shift and Alt still, let's left click on one of these edges coming down. And then over here on this side, Shift Alt left click on one of these edges. And now you can see this is what we have. All of these are selected like that. And I guess we could even come here to the back, Shift Alt left click, only in one of these in the middle going up on the tail. That's it. And now we're gonna go Control E or Command E over here, and we're gonna go Mark Seam. And now they all turn red. Now we're gonna press A to select everything, and we're gonna press U, and we're gonna click on Unwrap. So U for Unwrap, and then come here and click on Unwrap. And now everything is unwrapped over here. Let's just come over here with everything active over here. Let's just come to the pivot transform, make it individual origins, and you just go S and just slightly with S scale it all down. So there's a little bit of a gap between everything. And let's just send it back to median point. And now we're gonna come over here to our texture paint window. We're gonna go new, and let's just come here and call this corgi. And we'll just leave it as the default here. But what we could do is come here to the color, and let's just go drag this value up, and let's just make it kind of like our base corgi color. So I'm gonna go with something about here, kind of like a creamish, kind of soupy brown. I'm gonna go ahead, okay. And now this is our base color. So now we're gonna just go with our corgi is still selected. So we're gonna go over to our material properties. We're gonna go new and call this corgi. We're gonna go to the base color. We're gonna give it an image texture, and then come to the drop down and click on that corgi, like so. And now we can see it over here in our texture paint. So now all we have to do is come and paint in our colors. Now I've realized that this is probably not the color I want. Now I'm looking at it, I might just come here, and this is a good opportunity to show you guys. Let's just come over here to our active tool properties. Let's just come down here to the color picker, and I'm gonna make it a bit lighter in value and come more into this sort of blush kind of color. And I'm just gonna come with the brush here selected, the draw brush. I'm just gonna go and paint over my corgi wherever I want to paint it. There we go, like so. And something interesting is happening here, which I'll show you guys in just a second, right? See these ears here? They're not painting at the moment, and that is actually because the normals are inside out. So if we actually just hit tab to go to edit mode, we can press A to select everything, go Alt N, and just go recalculate outside. Then let's go back into our texture paint. Now we should be able to paint this. So if you ever run into that issue, and it's really annoying sometimes for beginners, that's one of the things you'll have to troubleshoot, okay? So just keep that in mind. But now we can see we've painted our corgi. And it doesn't really matter that I've gone with a different color now, because I really wanted to kind of demonstrate that to you guys anyway. So now we have our base color for our corgi. Now let's come over here and kind of get like a pinkish kind of color. And what we want to do, we want to paint the inside of the ears, but we don't want to accidentally get it on the head. So let's just press tab again. And let's just click and drag at the top just to select a little bit of both ears, and then go Control L. That's going to select everything, and then go Control I to inverse the selection and press H. So Control I to inverse and then press H to hide. Then go back into your texture paint. And now we have nothing in the way. So now we can come over here and we can just paint with that pink in the inside here of our corgi ear, like that. Let's just come, and actually you can see over here, it's done it on the same side, because I might actually somewhere have the mirroring enabled. I'm not quite sure. Let me have a look. Okay, so I think I have symmetry turned on here. So it means it's painting on both sides because it is symmetrical. I think if I turn that off on the X symmetry. Okay, yeah, so that's definitely what I had on. But actually, I might actually leave under the symmetry. I might leave the X on, because then it kind of saves us a bit of time. So kind of like a happy little accident there in a way. So we'll just stick with that. So yeah, once you're happy painting the inside of the ear, you can press tab again to go back into edit mode and press Alt H to bring everything back. And now let's actually go back into texture paint. And now let's go over here, click on this color, come to our color picker, and then come over here and just click on this corgi body color to sample it again. And let's just take the value down just a little bit and make it a little bit more brown. There we go. And now we can come over here, press F to grow our brush. Let's just paint his belly and go up like that. Just like that. You can do whatever color you want. Corgis probably don't even have this sort of color arrangement, but that's what I'm gonna do because I think it looks really cute. Something like that. Okay, and now I'm gonna go image, save as, and I'm just gonna for now go to my desktop and just call it corgi.png, save as image. And what's something else we can do? We could probably come here. Let's just make a nice kind of pink material. Color over here and the pink value, something like that. I'm just gonna go F to grow the brush, and I'm just gonna get him right here on the cheeks just to give him a little bit of blush. And I think that looks really cute. So now we have that done. I'm just gonna once again image, save, and now it's saving that texture. Let's go back to our layout. And it's okay if you can't see the texture because we're in a different view now. So let's just grab the eyes here and go to our materials, go new, and let's just call it eyes. Let's just go to a base color here and make it black and bring down the roughness almost all the way. And then what we're gonna do, we're gonna select the nose and give it a new material and call it nose. We're gonna make that one black almost, but a little bit brown. And we're gonna bring the roughness only slightly down. And we're gonna do the same with the mouth. We're gonna grab that and just give it that same nose material. And now, if we go Z and we go material preview, we should see our little corgi here. And this is kind of already looking really cute, but it's nowhere near as cute as we can possibly make it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go Shift A, we're gonna go to our mesh options, add in a plane. We're gonna go S and scale this plane up, and then go S, X, there we go. And then let's tab into edit mode, and with our edge, let's select the edge at the back. And in our side view, we're just gonna extrude it back and up a few times, like so. Let's go back into object mode. And in our front view, we can go Shift A, let's just add in a camera, move it up, and then just move it back on the Y. Then with your camera active, go to your camera settings and give it 120 on the focal length. Go back to your camera view, and you might have to move your camera back a bit if it's in too close. There we go. And then you're gonna grab your floor over here and you're gonna right click and go shade smooth. And let's actually grab the floor and the camera. And then we're gonna press M and we're gonna create a new collection and call it stage. Go okay. And we can now take this stage and we can turn that off if it's in our way. Okay, so but we'll leave the render on. So for now, let's just turn the stage off, like so. And let's just go over to our render properties. If you have it set to Eevee, just make sure to change it back to cycles. And you can also go down to your render samples, and mine is set to 40, but yours will probably be really high, like 4,000 or something. So just bring it down to 40 or 50 samples. You'd probably work a little bit higher since you're not doing a tutorial, but for me, to be a little bit faster, I'll keep it at a lower sample rate. As long as you have denoising, you should get a relatively good result. So we got our render engine set up. Let's just quickly go Shift A, just add in a light, add in an area light, and move it over to the side. Rotate it and press S to scale, and then under your light settings, let's give it a strength of 120. And then let's bring back our stage. And in fact, let's just take our light with it active and press M and move it to the stage. So now if we actually go into our camera view and we press Z and we go rendered, we can actually take this light while we're working, and we can go Shift D to duplicate it and bring it kind of behind the character, and Shift D again, kind of a little bit from the front, like so. Okay, and once you have that done, you can grab the floor, you can go to materials and go new, and just call it floor. And then let's just come here for now and make it kind of slightly bluish. And we're gonna come here to the specular, and we're gonna take this IOR level and just drag it all the way down to 0. I might just grab these lights and move them up just a little bit. And this is what we have so far. So now we can actually come here and just turn off our stage, as you can see. And we can at any point take our main collection here. Let's double click on it and just call it corgi. So we have our corgi and we have our stage. This one here is just another collection that I have. Don't worry about that. The only two collections we want is our corgi and our stage. So the corgi contains our corgi over here. It contains the eyes, so we can actually double click on that and just call it eyes. Let's click on our nose, come up here to the selection, call it nose. And we can click on the mouth, which is the torus here, and let's just call that mouth. So now we have our corgi collection and our stage with all of our lights and our camera and our floor. So now let's go into our camera view by pressing 0. Let's grab our little corgi and let's quickly give it a particle system. We'll do that in the next part. So in the next part, we'll create a particle system, so the hair, and then we'll also give him a little scarf, and then we'll render him out as a final little character render. So that'll be in the next part. I'll see you guys then. And as always, I will be uploading this blend file to my Patreon. So all of that is in the description below. So finally, we've made it to part 3 of making this little corgi character in Blender. If you haven't already seen part 1 and 2, go check them out on my channel. But essentially, we're going to be finishing off now in this part, and we'll be arriving at this cute little finished result here of this little corgi character. Yeah, it's just been a ton of fun. So let's jump right into part 3 and finish it off. But now we're going to be just adding our particles and making a little scarf. So let's select our corgi character. Let's go over to our particle properties. Let's click on plus to create a new system. And you don't have to name it anything, but we're gonna come here and just click on hair. And then you're gonna come here to the hair length and just drag it down, okay? So I'm gonna go something, let's go 0.09 should be fine. And then we're gonna go down to the children. We're gonna make it interpolated. And at the moment, these are looking really straight. So let's go over to our clumping, or our roughness actually. Let's go under to our roughness, that's right. And let's just make this 0.05 under roughness. And let's just take the endpoint value and drag that up to about 0.04. So we get a little bit of fluffiness to our corgi here. And we're then going to go to the hair shape, and we don't want this to look really thick. So we're gonna take the diameter root down to 0.03. Or actually 0.3. 0.03 would be way too little, so just 0.3 would be okay. And let's go ahead and make sure to save as we're working. And let's just go Z, and let's just look at this and rendered. Okay, that's looking good. We just don't want fur to be in certain places, so let's just quickly go to our object data properties, click plus to create a new group, tab into edit mode, and then all we have to do, and I know this might look tricky, but it's not. We're just gonna come in here and let's just press, I guess, okay, we'll do this. We're gonna hold in Shift and Alt, and with our face select option, Shift and Alt, we're gonna left click just in between two of these faces, and it should do a nice loop selection, like so. And you're gonna go Control plus to grow the selection till it's completely selected to the inside, like so. And then you're gonna go Control minus just to shrink the selection till we only have the inside selected, like so. Maybe like this, and then we're gonna go ahead and remove that from the group. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Shift Alt left click to loop select, Control plus, then Control minus a few times till we got it inside, and let's remove it from that group. So now if we deselect everything and we go over here and click on select. Okay, so here's the problem. I feel like an idiot. I never assigned everything to the group in the first place. Let's just press A to select everything, and with this new group, let's just click assign, okay? And I'm sorry for wasting your time, but now we have to do it again. Shift Alt, left click, Control plus a few times, Control minus, and let's go ahead and remove it now. And let's grab this selection here, Control plus a few times, Control minus, till we only have the inside, and let's remove that. So now, if we click here on select, we should see this is the only place where the selection is. That's the only place we're going to be having our hair particles, okay? Which is what we want. So let's go back into object mode. Let's go over to our particles, and let's just scroll down now to our vertex groups and change the density to group, and now we have the proper placement. Okay, another thing we can do is just go to render, enable B-spline, and let's quickly go to our particle edit. And this is optional, but I recommend, by the way, if you can't see the children particles, just make sure to go to your tools And just go down to the viewport display and enable children. But what you can do over here is just do a little bit of light painting, just to kind of add a little bit of direction to the fur. But honestly, I wouldn't overthink this bit. You could just leave it as it is. This is just extra little details you can do if you wanted to. So I'm gonna go with something like that. There we go. Just kind of paint his fluff a little bit. There we go. I'm gonna go back to object mode. Gonna go into my camera view, and let's now make sure to save. Let's go render and just do a quick image render here, render image. And here we have it. We now have a nice fluffy corgi. How cute is that? It looks a little bit flat, and I think that's just due to the poor lighting. But really, I think this is looking, going the direction we want it to go. So it's pretty cute. So I'm gonna go ahead, close this render window, and let's go now and add the scarf. So I'm going to hide the stage. I'm going to make sure I have the corgi collection selected. Shift A, let's just go to our mesh options, add in a quick circle. G, Z, move it up to around the neck. Tab into edit mode, go to your vertex select option, then go S to scale. E to extrude and Z, extrude down to about here. There we go. And then come in here, Control R, roll your middle mouse button up to add in 2 segments and then double click. And scale those 2 up on the Z. And then just go Alt S and scale them out along the normals a little bit. Now enable your proportional editing. Come over to your tools up here, just enable the X mirror up here in the corner. And now we're just gonna grab this bottom vertex, go G, and using proportional editing, I'm just gonna do a little bit of adjustment. Might scale it like so. There we go, just making a rough looking scarf. And I'm going to come in here, just kind of grab it over here and adjust it towards the neck, like so. Then I'm going to go to the side view, and I'm going to do the same thing, just bringing it in with proportional editing. Same over here. There we go, just bring it in like so. Might come in here, Control R, double click, Alt S, just scale out just a little bit. Give it a bit of thickness, and you could leave it at this if you wanted to. And I'm just going to go Shift Alt left click on this and go V just to cut it, right click to let go. I'm going to turn off proportional editing. In fact, with it still active here, this edge, I'm just going to go double G just to slide it, but I have to turn off X mirror. But this is optional, you guys don't have to do this. So you can kind of bring one of them out a little bit. And like I said, this is just me being extra right now. So I'm not going to do this too slow because I want to not make the tutorial go too long, but you can kind of have the scarf kind of coming off here to the side, just extruding it a few times, something like this. There we go. And then you just have to come here and slightly adjust it from the side, and then maybe tuck this one in around here like so, in on the back. Press A to select everything, go Alt N and just recalculate the outside normals. Something like that. And wherever you feel it has to be closed in a little bit, just kind of use common sense, and you can tell where things need to be closer to the body and where they need to be further away. I think there's not much more I could say at this point. I think this is pretty easy to figure out as you're doing this tutorial. So just something like this. Just make sure it doesn't go too much into the body, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to tab back out. I'm going to right click and go shade smooth. Then I'm going to give it a subdivision surface modifier. I'm going to give it a material. I'm going to go new and call it scarf. And I'm just going to make the base color reddish color, like so. And then I'm going to grab the scarf, and optionally I'm going to give it a particle system, make it hair, bring down the hair length, and I'll make it something like 200. And I'm just going to go down to the children and make it interpolated. And I'm just going to go under to the roughness and just give it a little bit of an end point like so. Okay, and I might make it a little bit shorter at the top, just like this. Okay, now I'm going to make sure to save. And let's bring back our stage. And let's now go render and just do a test render. And there we have it. So I really hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. I will be uploading this finished model to my Patreon. If you go and join the Patreon, you get access to a lot of these files, and it's also a way to support the channel, and I really do appreciate it. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Check out some of my other content on my YouTube channel. It's all free and it's cool stuff that you can learn. So this has been making a corgi. If yeah, I guess there's not much more I can say. I'll see you guys next time.